I always found it crazy how 99% of people all want the same thing. We all want freedom, we all want happiness, and we all want some level of success, whatever success means to you. But yet such a small percentage of the entire population are able to enjoy those three things, right? And I think about it all the time because I'm pretty sure that we've all had at least one idea in our entire life that could make us millionaires. At least one idea that if we stuck to it could change our entire life. Those are the moments when you're like, bro, we gotta lock in. I'm sure you've had that moment at least one time in your life, right? And I'm someone who has always struggled with procrastination, if I'm being completely honest. So when I look back at the reason why I procrastinated, when I look back at those times where I had those $1,000,000 ideas, but I never acted on it, I realized that the reason why I never took action was because I always felt deep down that the task at hand was going to be too hard for me to handle or too challenging for me to accomplish. But the moment that I was able to turn the hard tasks into easy tasks, that's when I was able to go from working at a 9 to 5 to making multiple six figures from my phone. That's when everything changed, right? So if you're able to develop this mindset, if you are able to create this shift, I guarantee you your entire life will change and you will start being more successful in everything that you do. Now, oftentimes, the reason why we don't take action is simply because we associate negative emotions with the tasks we're supposed to be doing. And oftentimes, the tasks that we're supposed to be doing just boils down to discipline, right? So there were three main ways that I was able to turn hard tasks into easy ones. The first one was create a positive association with everything that I thought was hard. Waking up early. That's something that not a lot of people are able to do, bro. But I started to associate waking up early with being a millionaire. I started associating waking up early with making more money. So now it became a game. How early can I wake up? Because in my mind, if I can wake up early, then I can make more money. So if I can start waking up at 7 o'clock, then that means I'll be able to make at least $200 more each day. If I was able to wake up at 6 o'clock, that means I can make $400 more each day. So I started turning everything into a game where it was like, okay, cool. The earlier you wake up, the more money you make. Going to the gym, for example, or cutting out sugar. That's a hard thing for most people to do. That's a very hard thing. But the way that you can turn that hard task into an easy one is create a positive association with it. Instead of thinking to yourself, oh my God, this boring diet. Every single time you take a bite of that dry ass chicken and rice, look at yourself in the mirror and say, damn, I look good. Because once you create that positive association, how you feel and how you look with eating that food, it no longer becomes hard to eat that food. It now becomes almost enjoyable because it's giving you the end result that you're looking for. It's literally like this. It's a principle called the pain versus pleasure theory, right? Whenever we associate negativity with hard tasks, it makes it easier not to do it. But once you start associating pleasure with hard tasks, it now becomes easier to do. It now becomes something that you are willing to do. And that's what makes the transition from hard to easy. Now, the second thing that I focused on in order to make that mental shift was literally creating an environment that allowed all of the hard tasks easy to accomplish. So there was a point in my life where I dedicated literally an hour every single day to reading a book, right? And my mentality was, all right, during the day, I go to the gym, during the day, I work. But in my mornings and in my evenings, I really have free time. So what I started doing was reading 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. And I was able to do that by just keeping my phone in another room. I started to create an environment where all of the tasks that were hard, I hated reading, bro. I never asked my parents. I never used to like reading. But I had to create an environment where reading became easy. Instead of having the phone by my bed, my book was by my bed. Instead of having the phone by my desk, my book was by my desk. And I ended up reading like 2 or 3 books in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks. Very, very inspirational books. I think I read this book. It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Then I also read this book called Do It Today. And then I also read this book called The Science of Getting Rich. So those are the 3 books that I read within like a 2 to 3 week time span. And I'm not going to lie, those books really transformed my mind. So that's step number 2. Try to make your environment a lot easier. If it's about starting a business, make sure that your phone is on D&D when it comes to deep work, right? Make an environment that is conducive to your workflow. If you don't, it's going to be easy to fall into distractions and harder to get back to the task at hand. There was a point in time where I was literally recording content, editing content, and posting multiple times a day on multiple different channels. I was not talking to a single fucking girl, bro. I had no time for friends. I had no times to go out. It was literally locked in dungeon mode. Me and my brother getting to fucking work, bro. Every single day. And then the third way that you can turn these hard tasks into easy tasks is by always focusing on the bigger picture. If you've ever had a vision of living a large lifestyle, a lavish or luxurious lifestyle, or just a lifestyle of freedom, then that's the image that you should hold in your mind every single day. And remind yourself that everything that you're doing today is bringing you one step closer to the life that you want to live. If that doesn't motivate you, bro, then trust me when I tell you, you don't really want it as bad as you think you want it. If you think that eating the right foods and going to the gym every single day is too difficult, even though you want to lose weight, if you think that it's hard to do that when you have this goal of losing weight, then trust me, you don't want to lose weight as bad as you want to lose weight. Because if you really wanted to lose weight, then you would realize that going to the gym, hitting cardio, being in a caloric deficit are things that are bringing you one step closer to your goal. If you realize that the only way to become a millionaire is to be more disciplined and to take raw action on anything that you know you're supposed to be doing and staying disciplined, then you will realize that it's not that hard to stay disciplined. It's not that hard to stay on task because you have to be one step closer to your goal. But if you don't want it, then it's always going to be easy to fall victim to the outside temptation. It's always going to be easy to not stay on task. So the number one thing that I always recommend, you don't necessarily have to create a vision board, draw it out, cut out pictures and all that BS, but I definitely recommend to have a journal where you write down your goals. And every so often, I typically look at it every week, but if you need it, read it every single day. Fuck it. Write it down and paste it on your mirror in the morning so you literally look at it every single morning or every single time you open up the refrigerator. Have it somewhere that you can see and remind yourself of your goals. As long as you have your goals in the forefront of your mind, it will always be easy to stay on track because now you're working towards something that you can visualize. Now you're working towards something that you can feel, right? Visualization is very important. And it oftentimes is the means to keeping you on track because there are days where I don't want to wake up and there were days where I didn't want to edit and there were days where I don't want to record content, if I'm being completely honest. But every single time I don't want to record content, I look at my screensaver and I see a Ferrari SF90. And it reminds me, I don't have it yet. So I have to post this video. It reminds me that I don't have the life that I want yet. So I have to do what I have to do in order to get there. So all of the hard tasks or the tasks that in the moment seem hard or they seem challenging or they seem like they're tedious or I'm just too lazy to get it done, it becomes easy to do because of my bigger picture vision, right? So those are the three things. Number one, start associating positive emotions with tasks that you consider to be hard. Secondly, create an environment where it is easy to accomplish these tasks, where you don't have outside factors distracting you or pulling you away from your purpose. And the last way, and personally, I think it's the best way to make hard tasks a lot easier, is literally to create a vision for yourself and visualize it every single day. Think about the life that you want to live. Think about the house you want to live in, the car you want to drive, the wife you're going to have. How many kids do you have? How much money are you making? And be clear on these things. Be specific. You want a house in what neighborhood? How many square feet? How many floors? How much money do you want to be making every single month? How much money do you want to be making every single week? How are you planning on making that money? Is your wife skinny? Is your wife thick? Is your wife tall? Is your wife short? Create the entire vision in your head. What kind of socks do you wear? Do you wear white socks? Do you wear high Nike socks? Do you wear ankle socks? Do you wear suits every day? Do you wear baggy clothes every day? Do you work from home? Are you a travel? Like, what do you like? Create the entire vision and hold that in the front of your mind all the time and understand that everything that you're doing today is bringing you one step closer to your dream life. And I promise you, all of those tasks that you feel like are hard in the moment are going to become a lot easier.